and different.
Thank God, thank God that I got the breast cancer. I mean, I have nothing but gratitude for it because it really stopped me.
So if you had to share with some of our ambitious entrepreneurs out there, I guess entrepreneurs are ambitious, but
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
entrepreneurs out there who believe that they can't or shouldn't slow down and or take care of themselves, aside from obviously your powerful stories around breast cancer and then of course being being at home during COVID, is there any other sort of jewels of wisdom you can kind of send out there in terms of this is why and how you need to stop when and take care of yourself?
Well, we all get the warning signs, right? And our physical body is this extraordinary sort of, canary in the coal mine. But because our lives are so busy and so overrun, we just ignore all of them. And so, I mean, it is unsustainable, as we all have seen, to live the lives that we've been living, and certainly it was for me. And so you'll be forced to stop. I mean, if you're lucky, you'll get what I got, which was enough of a wake up call that didn't actually cause a lot more damage than it
Mm-hmm,
could have, because
mm-hmm,
some people are
mm-hmm.
not that lucky.
Right.
And so, but to heed the call and I think again, the beautiful thing about COVID, and again, not taking away from the significant pain and suffering that has happened,
Right. Right.
but to get it's literally a global wake up call that enough, we're just doing too much. And the thing about the COVID that also is that this is the most innovative time, right? So there's always another way. And as
Mm-hmm,
entrepreneurs, you have to be thinking about the innovation at all times. And if you
mm-hmm,
are
mm-hmm.
burnt out and tired and not eating properly, not feeling your body, it's very hard to be innovative. But even in the darkest times, even the darkest days, which we've all had, there's always the solution. There's always a different way of thinking about it. And so your only job for me, the only job in this entire lifetime is actually to tap into your heart, into your higher self, your higher knowing, because it
Mm-hmm,
knows the
mm-hmm,
solution to everything.
mm-hmm.
And so use whatever tool it takes, whether that's, I mean, I've used I've used every tool because I've spent a lot of time in Bali and I spent all that time in Tulum. I've used healers and meditation and all kinds of different things. I've done spiritual medicine to really truly awaken me to my higher self. I've had sessions with channelers and all kinds of
Mm-hmm,
extraordinary
mm-hmm.
beings on this planet. And the ultimate goal is to just get to that quiet place where you can listen to your heart, your higher self. And then, of course, the real thing then is that you have to have the courage to act on it. So I think for a lot of us, we all have the knowing. We're scared of what we are going to be told.
And what do you think the fear is?
The fear is that we're going to have to do something that seems courageous, that is against what society says or thinks,
Mm-hmm.
or what our partner or our family or
Your
whoever,
boss.
or our boss or
Right.
whatever it is.
Right.
And to go against that, I mean, it seems like it's hard. It can be very hard, but it's way harder to be sick. And it's way harder to be really miserable and happy. And,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
again, we've got this one
And it's way
short
harder to
life.
be innovative if you don't feel good, by the way.
Exactly. Yeah. It's near impossible. I mean, there are a few people on this planet that where massive stress, can catapult them and inspire them and drive them. But
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
most people, and I'm definitely one of them, if I'm not taken care of financially and physically and mentally, I couldn't get out of it. I couldn't
Mm-hmm.
innovate my
Mm-hmm.
way out of my situation because I just was too unwell in all those areas.
Right. And some of the greatest advice to the entrepreneurs is that those basic needs need to be met first
Yes,
before you
yes,
move forward and become the
yes,
wonderful, exciting, successful person you'll be.
yes, a
You
100%.
got to have those basic needs, otherwise, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Um, Let me kind of switch topics a little bit and ask you, for some women, it can be difficult for them to ask for what they feel they deserve. Have you ever found your inner critic getting in the way of your ability to make decisions and take risks because you didn't think that you deserved it? And what did you do about it?
I mean, this is ultimately the crux of the human existence, right? It is, and I don't know if I can only speak for women. I know this is a massive thing for women because we have so many of these pressures about what we're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to do or look like or be or achieve or be awesome at everything. Um, there is no doubt that the only thing that has held me back in everything and continues to is my self, you know, inner critic, my self-hatred at some
Mm-hmm.
times, which
Mm-hmm.
is extraordinarily vicious and shockingly
Mm-hmm.
vicious,
But
and
unfortunately, all too normal.
all too normal. And so for me, again, the only journey is a journey to self-love because everything will flow from that. And what I continue to explore is why is it so hard? Like why? I mean, I had a normal childhood, and again, we all had,
Mm-hmm.
parent stuff and daddy issues and
Mm-hmm.
whatever, all that stuff.
Whatever. Yeah.
But it's astonishing to me as I sit here at 50 and everything I've been through and all the journeys and everything and all the healings and beautiful places I've been in and just awakening to who I am, that self-love is so hard. And it's anyways, it's just fascinating to me. And so for me, it's all I do every day now is I tap into my heart and say, and I catch myself obviously now when I have the inner critic come out and I say like, what is that about? And then I use whatever tools I have available to me, that I now have, amassed over this
Mm-hmm.
journey of
Mm-hmm.
tools. And sometimes it's physical, and sometimes it's mental, spiritual. Sometimes it's just fun, laughing, to really get to, this journey to self-love
Mm-hmm.
because everything will flow once you have it.
So to sort of like wrap up, sort of on that note, since it can be challenging to surround oneself with good, nurturing relationships that we all need in our lives, which is part of the basic need stuff we talked about earlier, what advice would you give to women who are struggling with this and want peer support, but just sort of can't see their way to how to get it?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely this concept of find your tribe, right? We all want to find our tribe. And so, I would say just really, well, put the intention out there of what it is, the kind of relationships you're looking for, male, female, peers, et cetera. And then, angels are always sent. I mean, even in
Mm-hmm.
the dark, they're always sent if you have an intention for it. And then but you have to stop and pay attention and listen to who's around or what's showing up. Like it could come in the form of a Facebook post, or it could come from a random text from
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
somebody, or it could be walking down the street. But
Right.
but all of this, ultimately, the most important thing still is to tap into your heart, because your heart and your inner self will guide you always,
Mm-hmm.
and really being able to listen, right? And so
And be
whether and
open and be
be
open to what's
open,
out there. Yeah.
and you never know what package is going to come in. I mean,
Mm-mm,
some of my
mm-mm.
closest friends now, I just, they're not just, we're on this spiritual journey together, and it's because they showed up, but I listened, and I was like, well, this is interesting. But I spend so much more time of my day just being quiet and
Mhm,
noticing what shows up and who shows
mhm,
up,
mhm,
no
mhm.
matter what package or medium it comes in.
Right.
But ultimately, it's all comes back to tapping into yourself and to
Mhm.
listen to that beautiful knowing voice that and feeling that we all have.
Totally, totally agree. I want to thank you so much, Delilah, for sharing today with our listeners your entrepreneurial story and how you overcame some of the psychological obstacles that you encountered during your really inspirational story. Where can people reach out to learn more about you?
The easiest way is on LinkedIn. So that, so Delilah Panio, I'm the only Delilah Panio out there. So just search me on LinkedIn. That's definitely the easiest place to find me.
Great. This podcast is brought to you by Women Entrepreneurs Global, the first startup studio and digital DIY startup platform for women. For more information on our guests, this podcast, and many other female founder programs, please visit womenentrepreneurs.global. We believe in an open and non-stigmatizing dialogue about the hidden psychological difficulties experienced by many successful entrepreneurs and highlighting the strategies used to overcome them, such as fear of failure, of not being good enough, and that loud, chattering internal critic is critical to helping other founders achieve success. Please join me next week for more Mindset for Success stories. I'm Dr. Leslie Knudsen, and you can drop me a line at drleslieKnudsen@drleslieKnudsen.com.
This podcast is brought to you by Women Entrepreneurs Global, the first startup studio and digital DIY startup platform for women. For more information on her guests, this podcast, and many other female founder programs, please visit womenentrepreneurs.global. We believe in open and non-stigmatizing dialogue about the hidden psychological difficulties experienced by many successful entrepreneurs and highlighting the strategies used to overcome them, such as the fear of failure, of not being good enough, and that loud, chattering internal critic is critical to helping other founders achieve success. Please join her next week for more Mindset for Success stories. That was Dr. Leslie Knudsen, and you can drop her a line at dr.leslieknudsen@dr.leslieknudsen.com.